So what I want to do first is I want to just kind of just talk about how the day has been. I want to talk with you guys about just some real talk here, um, about what many of my colleagues have been going through, what I've been going through, family members, and whatnot. And so, with that said, I kind of want to talk to you guys just about how we as just an entity can continue to thrive. Now, before I go into that, again, welcome to the Real Talk Show. I'm Dr. India White. I'm so glad to be with you guys. I want to remind you of some really cool things. First things first, the Real Talk Show, it is aired on the radio Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at SoulNet WKDH radio station. Again, that is at SoulNet WKDH radio station. You can tune in at www.soulnetwkdh.com to attend. Okay, you can hear it there. We'll be replaying all of the different features from the show, so I'm super excited about that. And of course, it also will be aired on Swain Girl Media Channel. If you have Fire Stick, you can see it there. There's more details to come. So I'm super excited about this. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. Precious Swain, thank you so much for this phenomenal opportunity. Our show will be aired as well on the Swain Girl Media Channel. You can find it using Fire Stick. Now, another thing is I would love for you guys to follow me on social media. Keep in touch with your girl, okay? All right, so my Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White, which I love LinkedIn, by the way. It's amazing. They have this thing called LinkedIn Learning. You can learn all kinds of different courses about like everything. It's amazing. Anyways, then there's Twitter, Indie Speak and Teach. That's my Twitter handle. It's INDISPEAK, the letter N, and the word teach all together. And then my Twitter is going to be, oh wait, I already said that. Then my Instagram is going to be Indy238. Again, my Instagram is going to be Indy238. So that's a little bit about some updates with the Real Talk Show. Give me a minute. And then what I want to do is, I'm just trying to make this a little better for us. And then what I want to do is I want to just kind of remind you guys of just some really cool things that we've had going on. For one, a part of my tribe, we were a part of the Pretty Women Hustle Network. And from the Pretty Women Hustle Network, I had interviewed Aisha G.R.I.T. I interviewed her last week. She is the lead author of our book, which is dealing with 40 days of empowering women, empowering the woman within. It's called Pretty Paid and Powerful, Empowering the Woman from Within. And as a result of that, the book actually is now a bestseller on Amazon. So we're super excited about that. So celebrate with us, get the book. If you need the link, reach out to us and we will be more than happy to provide it for you. I did put some information already on my social media pages about it. So tune in there when you get a chance. Okay. Also, I wanted to kind of let you guys know about, so I just let you know about the Swain Girl Media. I let you know about the Pretty Woman Hustle. And so now I'm going to talk to you guys about the session tonight. Bear with me as I'm having some technical difficulties, but it's okay. So if you're just joining, welcome to the Real Talk Show. I want to now talk to you guys about growth and having a mindset of growth and what it's going to take to really have a mindset of growth. Now, some of you guys have probably heard of different things pertaining to growth, whether that's like growth mindset and things like that. And so I'm going to kind of dive into that topic. And so this is going to be kind of a growth talk, protecting your mindset. Okay. And so first things first, when you're dealing with your mindset, we have to understand that we're not all, we don't all have the same background. We don't all have the same experiences, right? And so as a result, it's very imperative that we kind of talk about this with open-mindedness and empathy, because just reality speaking, we're all going through our own battle. And so I'm going to talk about some of those battles tonight, and hopefully, they can resonate with you. First things first, I did mention talking about growth and talking about a growth mindset. And why am I bringing this up? Well, I was thinking earlier today, and not just today, just throughout this current season, how much we all have just had to undergo with the different changes of COVID, different things going on in society, in the nation, in the world. Some people are on edge. Some people are losing their minds. And so I've kind of developed this compassion for people. And it made me think of my own life and how I've been able to somewhat navigate through some of the hardest times in my life. And so I'm going to be very open with you guys tonight. And I talked about growth mindset with Carol Dweck, a great read, a great researcher. This is her expertise. If you ever get a chance to check that out, definitely check that out for yourself. I don't think you'll regret it at all. Now, I wanted to talk to you about protecting your mindset as well. And I'm going to take you down just my own journey when I learned that I needed to really protect my mindset in order to really be successful in life and to taste of some type of success. So I'll take you back to when I was a teenager and my brother had just passed away. Now, in this time, I was also a student undergoing homelessness, right? Many of you know my story. I was at risk, labeled at risk. And I remember that in this time, it was very uncertain. I could have dropped out of school. I could have taken my life. I could have given up completely on my dreams. Long story short, it took a lot of prayer and resilience to get me through that time, and a lot of grit. It was not easy. I remembered thinking to myself, how am I going to take final exams when I'm dealing with grief? It was very fresh. I literally, we buried my brother, and then that next week or so, I had my final exams. It was a wild time. And I felt like I did not have much support. I didn't really have a big system of support. And so I know some of you guys are dealing with grief. Some of you are dealing with, making some pretty hard decisions. And it seems like life is not slowing you down, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to make sense of this, right? And so with that, I just wanted to encourage you with certain strategies to deal with certain things that you might feel as you're going through hard times. I know for me, the resilience came when I was able to really kind of understand that even though I was dealing with grief at the time, it did not have to take up my entire focus. I had to learn to compartmentalize what I was going through. So each hardship had a certain amount of time I could spend on it. The emotions, I had to learn how to bring myself back in and bring it together so that I wouldn't completely lose my mind. And so I'm going to talk about ways that I was able to deal with the depression, ways that, not only that, but ways that we can all deal with depression, or ways that you can protect your happiness. If you're dealing with anxiety, we're going to talk about that as well. And we're just going to kind of walk through these things and understand how to be resilient in a time where people are really kind of just seeking out answers. And so first things first, I told you resilience is key. And resilience is defined in the dictionary by the ability to quickly recover from difficulties and toughness. Again, resilience, it's defined as the ability to quickly recover from difficulties, and it's just having toughness. And so I want resilience to kind of be the focus of our talk today, as we just kind of keep it real. And so first things first, again, we're talking about protecting our mindset. And the first thing that I want to really kind of elaborate on is what people are saying about depression. So when I looked into depression, I found that they were talking about the statistics of depression. I went to singlecare.com, and they said that the statistics of depression, more than 264 million people suffer from depression worldwide. Again, more than 264 million people suffer from depression worldwide. Okay. They said that depression is the leading cause of disability in the world. That's from singlecare.com, and they're referring to the World Health Organization. So this means that, we're really not alone in this. Everybody kind of is trying to figure out how to deal with depression in a successful manner, so that it doesn't build into something that that could lead to something that's much unfortunate. And so with that, some things you want to look out for when you're looking at depression, or some symptoms of major depression. So some symptoms include severe and persistent low mood, profound sadness, or a sense of despair. A major depressive episode is a period of time that's characterized by depression. That's singlecare.com. And it's funny, I did write about depression and despair in my first book on how to overcome obstacles from your past. If you want that, I can hand you that link later. You can also find it on Amazon. You just have to put in the title, How to Overcome. I'm going to put this in for you. I'm going to type it in, okay, guys? So it's called How to Overcome Obstacles from Your Past. So I think if you put this in Amazon, just like this, you should be able to get the copy of the book. So I'll put that there. So that was my very first book that I wrote. And like 2011, 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, time is flying. So in that book, I do kind of address depression and despair. Feel free to comment and chat. I'm going to try to see if I can pull you guys up on my social media so I can talk with you and interact with you. I know I was having technical difficulties, and now I hope you can hear me now. So let's see here. All right, so now. Okay, so I'm on my page. So if you're talking to me, I can see you now. So listen. So the first things first is we're going to talk about depression and basically, are there things that you do to kind of help you deal with that, and how to protect your happiness more so. And so I did look, and I surfed the web a little bit, and I wanted to look at happiness. And so on victoriajuju.com, she had some pretty cool ways to protect your happiness. So here it says 7 ways to protect your happiness. Focus on the here and now. Okay, so focus on the here and now. Number 2, cancel commitments. So this is so important. Even when you just take the first bullet, focusing on the here and now, this is so important because what happens? We get so caught up in the next thing down the road, the next 15 minutes, the next hour, the next appointment, what's due tomorrow, that we can never just sit and breathe and really enjoy what's going on in our lives. We can't even enjoy just being able to breathe fresh air because we have so much on our plate and we become overwhelmed, right? And so sometimes you have to just slow it down a little bit and enjoy life. So the first step here, it says 7 ways to protect your happiness. Focus on the here and now. Number 2, cancel commitments. Now, I have a hard time canceling commitments. I do, honestly, because I'm a workaholic and I like to be at everything and I like to be everywhere because I like to, I don't know, I kind of see myself as an extrovert. So I like to be around and just get to know people. And, I'm kind of under the philosophy, we're here on this side only once. So why not get to know as many people as possible and just kind of enjoy this thing we call life. And so with that said, I found this very interesting to cancel commitments because I do have a hard time saying no sometimes. However, I am getting better at it. I remember when I was an administrator and my phone would always ring and they teach you this, when you're in leadership, you cannot be a servant to your phone. Like you have to teach your phone what you're going to do to it. So, people will try to call you. People will try to have you interact with them all the time. And it's like when you hear them call you, it's like you're, oh my gosh, I got to get to it. Like right now. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to take a step back and you just have to live your life. And so I had to learn that, I had to learn that it's not always about jumping to every phone call, jumping to every, email right away. Like sometimes you have to just live your life. And so with that said, I thought it was very interesting that, it said you should cancel commitments. So anyways, feel free to chime in. I'm checking my chat for you guys now to see if there's any interactions, because I want to be more interactive on these shows. Now, number 3, it says take the day off. I could tell you, I used to not believe in this at all. I could be somewhere and never take a day off for years, until, and my philosophy was this: you don't know when you're going to have an emergency, right? So you want to make sure that you're saving up those days for when you really need them. However, have you ever been, whether it's work or your business or, at an organization that you're a part of, and you've been so into it and so intertwined, and you never took time off, that you find that you become edgy, stressful, and every little thing gets to you, and it's almost like you're kind of like, okay, I need to do something or else. And so with that said, it's okay to get to the point where you say, I do need to take the day off. I do need to take care of myself. I need to go to the spa. I need to go to the beach. I need to go to the gym, whatever. So, I mean, of course, don't abuse it, but, make sure that you're spending quality time for yourself. Another thing, I'm going to talk about single parents. Sometimes a single parent will be like, okay, I'll take a day off. And the whole time you're still serving your children and you're still doing things for everyone else except for yourself. So it's not really a day off. It's like, it's a shifted focus towards doing something else, right? So we have to be mindful of that. I thought that was very interesting. And then here it says, stop comparing. This is huge. And this is important because, we get so caught up in society's, the societal norms. For example, I know some people believe, you just got to get that American dream, pursue the American dream, one up somebody, be the best, always have something new coming out, just always got to just keep it going, right? Well, sometimes it's just good to just stop comparing and take a step back. Because what I found out is this: there's always a bigger fish in the ocean. There's always a prettier fish in the ocean. There's always a faster fish in the ocean. There's a wiser fish in the ocean. There's always going to be a richer fish in the ocean. So meaning that you at your greatest is great, and you should accept that. But don't be upset, if you compare yourself and you find somebody else that has surpassed you and they're not even trying to compete with you, right? It's just life. It's just it's how the cookie crumbles. It's just how it is. It doesn't make you a bad person. I remember when I was in grade school, high school, I had a couple of friends. They were just whizzes. They never studied and they aced everything. I would study 3-4 hours and get a 70% on the same math test that they didn't even prepare to study for. And they would just ace it. And I would get so confounded because I'm like, why am I doing all of this? And they are just beating me, just blowing me out of the water. Well, it's just how the cookie crumbled then, and of course I learned to celebrate them and to not, compare and then get depressed and then get down because I felt like their performance was better than mine. And, I had to learn to do that even overall in general. And all that I do, I try to not compare as much. And it's okay to celebrate people who are doing better than you. And it is okay to celebrate people who are better than you in certain traits and certain giftings. There's something that we're all the expert in. And then there's those things that, you just have to leave it to someone else. I'm not good at sewing at all. I could barely sew a pillow together. I could barely sew a button. But I know people that can sew blankets. They can make whole outfits. Guess what? I'm going to celebrate them because I don't know what I'm doing. And guess what? If I need something sewn, I'm going to go to them, But then I have friends that they can't even cook a turkey for Thanksgiving. They don't know how to, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to bake a cake. But, instead of comparing and feeling some type of way, I just offer my services. If they ever needed me, hey, I'm here. You need your turkey made or you need cake or whatever, I'll throw down in the kitchen. That's fine. So it's like being able to find a healthy mindset when dealing with all of these different comparisons and knowing that it's okay to not always be the best in everything. Okay. And so now I'm going to talk about the next thing that they, Victoria Juju said here. They said, just be nice. I thought about this and I said, why did they even have to say be nice? But listen, in the society that we're in, it's it's necessary. Not everybody is waking up every day saying, okay, how am I going to be nice and really help people? And, not everybody is doing that, right? And so I think that, for them to tell you to be nice, it's sad, but it's also necessary because we're just living in a world where it's just really, it's brutal out there. It's brutal. Some people, you wake up and you're driving through traffic and you'll find that those people are like, flipping you off or, they're just like upset in the morning. And it's just one of those things. Like you just have to be nice to people because you don't know. You just don't know what they're dealing with, for one. And then two, why not contribute to the good in society? Why not contribute to the good in the earth? You know what I mean? Not contributing to the negativity. I mean, it is so easy to wake up and to be negative. It is so easy to focus on everything that's wrong. And sometimes we do have to really train ourselves to be nice, train ourselves to be sweet, to be merciful. Because we're living in just a rough time. Some people are merciless. Their hearts are cold and they don't care. They're just like slicing, and it is what it is. But that does not mean that we have to contribute to that. We really can just be nice, merciful, compassionate, empathetic people. And in that, that requires forgiveness, that requires grace, that requires second, third, fourth opportunities, right? So these are things that we can all practice together just to kind of benefit society and to benefit the world as a whole. Just be nice. I actually had that as a class rule when I was in class. You wouldn't believe how many times I had to remind my students to be nice. Good days. And then this was really interesting. It said to enjoy your company. And when it said enjoy your company, it's talking about just enjoy yourself and enjoy being among yourself. Do you know some people don't like spending quality time alone? Like they don't like being lonely. They are like, oh, I've got to always be in it. Hey, I'm an extrovert, so I get this. But some people are like, oh my gosh, I got to find someone to call. I have to find someone to go hang out with, someone to eat lunch with, someone to go biking with, someone to jog with. Listen, I'm not down in that at all. But if you're not in a place where you can just spend a whole day to yourself and you don't have to necessarily link up with someone else, I mean, you might want to reconsider, because I think that there's nothing wrong with being able to detox from the world and detox from everything and everyone and just have a moment for yourself. Introverts absolutely love this. Introverts are like, yes, that's me all day. Right? Extroverts are like, no, I need to have someone, that I can always call. And hey, like I said, I'm a little bit guilty of that too, because I am more of an extrovert than I am an introvert. But there are days that I'm like, okay, I need to just take an India day. Like I'm not, doing anything for anyone but India today. And to be honest, it's been a while since I've done it, so I didn't need to do it. But usually, like if I take an India day, I'm going to maybe go to the beach and just lounge out there until, I just am sick of the sun and I just have to go because I'm just over it, I mean, that's something that I would do, or read an amazing book or, jam out on my saxophone, do something, but just taking an India day. And I know for you, you just have to take a day for you and find out what it is that, brings you a sense of quality time and quality, I guess, quality rewarding of yourself, which leads to the next point, pleasing yourself. Be honest. When's the last time you said, I'm going to go shopping for myself and get myself a nice outfit, or I'm going to take myself to that nice restaurant and get that steak that I have been wanting for a month. Or I'm going to, lounge out on the beach, like I said, and I'm not bringing the kids. It's just me. When's the last time you sincerely treated yourself? Some of us have been so hard on ourselves. We don't treat ourselves. We treat everyone else. My love language is giving. If I love, I will give, whether that's of my talents, of my time, of gifts. I am a giver. I'm going to give. And yet I'll give to everyone else and everything else and not myself. And I know so many of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about. You will give the world. You'll get the shirt off your back, and yet you won't give anything to yourself. And I tell you guys, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. I remember one time I was convicted and I really had to think about it. I said, oh my gosh, you've given to everyone else, like to where when I go to bed at night, I've accomplished so much and I've helped my kiddos, and, I feel a sense of success, doing things right and giving and loving and paying it forward. And then I just stop and think and I say, what did I do for me? Nothing. Nothing. And it's so simple you can just start slow. Even if it's just giving to yourself by taking a nap. When's the last time you took a nap? Some of you out there, rock stars, you hustling like crazy and making it happen. But when's the last time you just took a 30-minute to an hour nap for yourself? It's just little things like that you would not believe would go such a long way. And listen, if you want to read on her article, it's www.victoriajuju.com. She talks about just protecting your happiness. And in this time that we're in, we need to do all that we can to protect our happiness. Okay. Sorry about that. I was receiving a phone call on, I think, Facebook. It's kind of cool. All right. So now I've talked about happiness with you guys. Now we're going to take a breather. And now we're going to talk about the next segment. Hey, if you're just joining, welcome to the Real Talk Show with Dr. India White. I'm your host. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today. We're talking about protecting our mindset. Okay, so we talked about protecting our happiness. And now we're going to talk about another element, which is going to deal with anxiety. But before we do, yes, it says, I'm the same way, Veronique. My superpower is giving. Yes, you're right, Veronique. It can be self-abusive because we feel like we're doing good because we're giving to everyone, but we're neglecting ourselves. We got to get to ourselves too. We got to get better at this, right? Got to get better at this. But hey, listen, we're going to now talk about anxiety. And I chose anxiety because it was not until later on in my life that I realized that even myself, I dealt with anxiety. And anxiety is just whenever you have such a high rate of breathing rate and you just get really, really nervous about everything and you start jumping to conclusions and there's like this fear that you might deal with. And I have never been diagnosed for anything, but I can tell you that, when you look into different things, whether it's anxieties and depressions, I think each of us can kind of see certain glimpses here and there where we're like, I need to kind of watch that, or I need to make sure I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with making sure you are okay. And this is why I wanted to have the session for all of us. So anxiety stats, it says that in 2017, 284 million people worldwide lived with anxiety. That was 2.8% identified as males, 4.7% identified as females. You can get that from Our World in data.org. Okay. And so basically, anxiety is a real thing. People are dealing with it. There are different causes for anxiety, right? And so with that said, I wanted to just kind of talk about how can you cope with anxiety? Because for 284 million people to deal with this, it's definitely something that we don't want to brush under the rug. We want to make sure we can find solutions for it. So how to cope with anxiety, I was able to look at healthline.com and they spoke and they said to question your thought patterns. So start looking and start to see, like, are the things that you're thinking about, are they factual? Or are those just all in your head? Are you creating a whole narrative here? And are you blowing things out of proportion and it's not even the case? And you're worried about something that's not even factual. You know, what is going on there, right? So question your thought pattern. Number 2, they said practice focused deep breathing. Okay, so practice focused deep breathing to deal with anxiety. Okay, number 3, it says use aromatherapy. Now, I'm not really that big of a fan of aromatherapy. I know sometimes it depends on what you use, like, you know, Bath and Body Works and other places might have aromatherapy things. But the thing is, you know, sometimes it depends on, you know, the usage of it. Like I know certain things just, you know, it just depends on what you jive with. So, you know, definitely, you know, you can tap into that. But, you know, sometimes it works for me personally. Sometimes it's just kind of, I just can't really jive it. So to each his own on that one. But this is definitely a coping mechanism that they did recommend. So I made sure that you guys had that available for you. This one I liked, go for a walk or 15 minutes of yoga. I love going for a walk. It's so soothing. It's just nothing like taking in that fresh air and just thinking and, you know, just enjoying life. And I did some sessions like, I guess kind of yoga sessions. I've done some before. I don't practice yoga or anything, but I was exposed to a yoga session and was able to stretch and kind of like release those thoughts and meditate. And, you know, it did help me in the session that I did attend. But going for a walk, there is nothing like that. Or working out, oh my word, there's nothing like it. I actually need to do it more. I'm a little guilty. But anyways, so that's a really neat tip that they gave us there. And then this last one, I am a huge fan of writing. I don't know what it is about writing. I don't know if any of you guys out there like to write. I am huge on writing down thoughts and just getting things out. Sometimes it's not even about like, you know, it's physically writing, but sometimes it's also about like getting to the computer and being able to just type out your thoughts and then just hitting the delete button and just not saving anything. And it's out of your system. Sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes the only way to get it out of your system effectively is to write it out and to just let it go. And I find that if it's something that's just, you know, bigger than me or something that I'm grappling with and I just can't seem to get resilience over it, sometimes it's just writing it out, talking it out, thinking it out, and then just letting it go into the universe, you know, like that really helps a lot. So with that said, there are some strategies right there to help with anxiety. Again, those are strategies that help with anxiety. Another thing, there's some disorders, mental disorders that, like, for example, that I found that was very interesting on the same website. You should check that website out when you get a chance, ourworldanddata.org. They spoke about how in 2017, 46 million people lived with bipolar disorder. So this is definitely another reality. And so I think as we continue to unfold all of these different things and concerns, I think all of us are starting to see that there's a need to really kind of stick together. There's so much hurt going on in the world that this is just definitely a dire time for us to just stick together and help each other through these hard times. There's another, some other statistics here. In 2017, it said 970 million people lived with mental or substance use disorder. Again, 970 million people lived with mental or substance abuse disorder. So we're seeing here, there are so many different things going on. And listen, I don't think it's just people like adults. I also think that, you know, we need to consider our children as well, students and what they're going through. Students are going through so much now. I cannot imagine being a student dealing with COVID, dealing with social distance learning. dealing with deaths, dealing with grief, dealing with just so many different changes that have gone on in society. Our children, we need to definitely consider our children in these stats as well, and how we as leaders can help our children also deal with different struggles they might have mentally as well. And then look here, in 2017, it says 71 million people had a drug use disorder. So when I look at these stats, these are very heavy. These weigh heavy on us, right, guys? And it's just kind of like, man, there's so much going on. And so again, it's all about having that resilience and being able to kind of pull yourself together and say, how can I overcome? My favorite saying is, you can overcome anything. I've always said that. And my advice when you're dealing with someone that is dealing with different issues, whether, it's a drug disorder, whether it's depression, whether it's, whatever they're dealing with, my advice is to be empathetic, show kindness, and have mercy to all, because you might be that person to save them from doing something that they'll regret forever. You might be that person that can really kind of steer them onto a journey of success. Sometimes you have to look around your life and you have to see, wow, things are really working out for me. I've really been successful, but don't stop there. You should then add a clause to that and say, so then who am I supposed to help now? Right? So I've been successful. Things are working out for me. So who am I supposed to help? What is my purpose now? Okay. For example, I made $1 million. Great job. Question: who am I supposed to help now? And no, I'm not talking about just family. Looking outside of family. That's entering into philanthropy. And of course, some people are called for that. Some aren't. But these are questions that we have to start asking ourselves as we're trying to pay it forward. And we're really trying to protect our happiness and help the world as well. I'm not saying to give everything that you have away, but I am saying to consider, when your life is working out for you, start asking that question. Who am I supposed to help now? Why did I get, this blessing? Who am I supposed to help now? Why did I get this knowledge, this information, this education? Who am I supposed to help now? I think it's a big question that many of us leaders can begin asking in this season, because I can tell you right now, there are more people that need help than there is help to offer, right? So that's just a great question to ask yourself. Who am I supposed to help now? You were raised up to be a leader for a purpose. You were raised up in greatness. You're raised up in success. You've accomplished great things. So now you have to start asking that question. Who am I supposed to help now? That is the greatest question. And you would be so amazed that if you've never given before, if you never donated, and you decided to take on a task and donate to someone, the feeling you get afterwards is just priceless. You would be amazed how wonderful that makes you feel once you've been able to contribute and help others. So I wish you the best on that. Again, I talked about mentioning depression and despair and things in my book, How to Overcome Obstacles from Your Past. When you get a chance, definitely check that out. Because there's a lot of good nuggets in there. It was written 10 years ago. So a lot has changed in my own life since then. But it was, it was a cool experience. And so with that said, we have been talking tonight just about protecting our growth. And I started out, and I think I was having technical difficulties. And so with that said, I'm going to repeat some of the stuff that I started out with. Again, the Real Talk Show, guys. It will be aired on SoulNet WKDH radio station every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tune into SoulNetWKDH.com to tune in. Thank you so much to Ken and his team for that. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. It has been fantastic. And also, we are excited because the Real Talk Show also being streamed on Swain Girl Media channel. That's going to be hosted by Precious Swain, and you can find it on Firestick. So there's more to come on that. You'll start seeing things on my social media feed if you follow me on social media that deals with those issues there and deals with all that information. Okay. I also told you guys when I first started out that you need to follow me on social media when you get a chance. So my Facebook is Miss India White. My LinkedIn is The India White. My Twitter feed is Indie Speak and Teach. That's INDI Speak, the letter N and the word teach. Indie Speak and Teach. Twitter is I just said that. Instagram is Indie238. That's INDI, the numbers 238. And then my YouTube channel is India White 123. So those are my social media links. So if you could go ahead and follow me, I would love you for that. That would be fantastic. I also told you guys about Pretty Woman Hustle. I know I was having technological difficulties, so I am repeating some of this stuff. Sign up for the Pretty Women Hustle Network, ladies, if you're out there. We just released a book. It's pretty cool. Aisha Cheatham is the co-author or the lead author of this amazing book, which has now just has been on the bestseller list in Amazon. So woohoo, celebrate with us. You can find the links on our social media pages and whatnot. And if you need more information, then we could definitely give that to you as well. So to kind of conclude our session today, we talked about resilience and how resilience is key. It's the ability to recover from difficulties and toughness. We have to be tough in this time. We can't afford to allow the trials of life to defeat us. We have to remember that we are here for a specific cause. And therefore, whenever these trials come our way, it's not to defeat us or to destroy us. It's to develop us and to make us into something great so that we can be used to help the next person. We have to remember this. Sometimes I think, like, what if I would have dropped out of high school? What if I would have dropped out of college? You know, there's just certain things that I think of, how certain decisions in life that we make when we choose to be resilient and to overcome, it's not just for us. It's for those coming after us. It's for the future generation. We have to remember that we are not an island unto ourselves, but that we are connected to others. People do need you, believe it or not. You might say, nobody needs me, nobody cares, da, da, da. No, somebody does need you. Somebody does care. Somebody who's watching your life. Somebody believes in you. You know, I mean, and hey, I know that's like, we all know that's like, where it feels like you're not really a big deal, right? It feels like nobody really cares and nobody really needs you. But I mean, at the end of the day, they do. They just don't say anything. Or if they say something, it's like they say it when you've passed on. Right? I mean, you go to people's funerals and they have this mouthful of things that they say about the person that they love, right? And the one thing I always think is like, I hope that person knew that before they passed away. You know, I think that's one thing that we all can maybe focus on as an area of growth, an area of focus, is telling each other how much we really mean to each other, telling each other we love each other, telling each other that we value that person and we value what they bring to the table. We value what they do. Because I think that in this time that we're in, we don't hear that enough, right? It's just one of those things that we need. We need more niceness. We need more hospitality. We need more mercy. Mercy. This is another one. If you have a position of power, or I don't know, like you just have the ability to show mercy, that's definitely something that, you should consider doing. Because people need mercy in this hour. I think one of the hardest things to live under is a sense of shame and a sense of judgment, a sense of not being good enough, a sense of being ostracized or isolated. You would not imagine how many people feel like this, whether it's at their work or in their homes or at their church, or there are people that are dealing with feeling a sense of shame and isolation and rejection all the time. And they deal with the silent loads of oppression and the silent loads of feeling like they're just not good enough or like they'll never be accepted. And that's so sad, you know? And I think those things also lead to depression. They lead to some of the things we talked about tonight. But I think that some of you on here watching, you have the power to really empower those that might feel ostracized or isolated or feeling like they've been rejected or they've been battling a shame, you know, especially in you know, just various organizations and things. Like if your organization is really big on performance and, you know, doing everything right, some of you leaders out there can consider, you know, having more mercy and more compassion to those who have fallen and those who have not met your standards, right? Because we have to also remember that, I mean, in these times that we're living in, people are just making choices. People are just making decisions. And some of those decisions, you know, they are still paying for. And they could have made those decisions years ago. And sometimes we have to just learn how to practice mercy, learn how to give mercy, and really give out second, third, fourth, fifth chances and stop being the one that holds the wrongdoings of people over their heads, learning how to really practice, you know, another opportunity, practicing grace and mercy, especially I would say in religious circles. I think that would be really, really beneficial for leaders of religious circles, you know, to consider practicing that, because it's just one of those things that, you know, if people are volunteering their time and volunteering their service, and they're never, you know, going to fit in, or they have that feeling or that perspective, or it's kind of been concluded to them that it really can impact them in a negative manner. And so we don't want to be the reason why someone stops making progress in their journey, you know, whether it's a part of a religious organization or a part of a business or whatever. We don't want to be that reason, you know, that someone, you know, falls off of, you know, the potential that they had or great performance that they once upheld, because we have such lack of mercy when they needed it the most. So it's just something I thought about. I don't want to be that person. I would hate to be that person that would, I guess, cause someone to just kind of give up hope in you know what I mean, and stop practicing in all their potential in various groups. So we've had a talk tonight, guys, about growth and protecting our mindset. Again, I gave you my advice. Be empathetic, show kindness, have mercy for all, because we really don't know in these times what people are going through. It's just tough times. Tough times. That's all I can say. Tough times. And so if you've been raised up as a leader, please keep some of these things in mind. You know, if you didn't know about anxiety, you know a little bit now. If you didn't know about depressions and stuff, you know a little bit now. And so let me see. There's another comment here. Yes, that's so true. And at times I think the ostracized sometimes give mercy more freely than others because of their struggle. And I agree. I would say, especially in various organizations and you know, circles of faith, because, excuse me, you know, when people are trying to practice, you know, being a part of a group, you know, and it's always tough. It's always tough. You're trying to be a part of a group. You don't want to be necessarily associated as like a clique or whatever, right? You kind of want to get along with everyone, but then you have those people. I call them, I don't know what I call them. They're kind of like the instigators. You know that person I'm talking about. The person in the group that they're the one to spread the gossip. They're the one to start the drama. They're the one to just get everything going, you know, like, oh, that person. Oh. They're in every group too. They're everywhere. And that person can, you know, make things great for you, or that person can really sabotage what you've got going on. And I just wish that that particular person, whether it's the instigator, the really judgmental person that has like no mercy for everybody else, and they just put themselves on this pedestal like they're just the greatest. I wish that person could just have a reality check and realize that, you know, not everyone has been as fortunate as them to be on the path that they're at. And if they are really, I say this too, if they are really that accomplished and that wonderful and that great, then they need to turn around, right? And start paying it forward. They need to help others become like them instead of having a standard that says, I'm great, I've arrived at this position and you're just down there. And, you know, like it's instead of having that, taking more of a stance like, wow, I do have a lot for me. I have been esteemed, you know, highly. I do have a clean slate. So, why don't I look at these people that might not be on the level that I'm at, and how can I help bring them up to my level and even further than what I've been able to achieve, no matter what the organization is, you know, whether it's an organization of faith or a business or whatnot. It's kind of like allowing others in. I think that's what it is, allowing others in instead of keeping them isolated and keeping them ostracized. You know, it's just, you know, it just shows that we have a work to do. We have work to do. Not all hope is lost, but there's work to be done. And so we can take this advice that we've been able to kind of look at today and start practicing it so that we can lower the levels of anxiety. I mean, that's sad. 284 million people with anxiety. We got to lower those numbers. 46 million people with bipolar. Hopefully we can lower these numbers, you know. And then depression, you know, 264 million with depression, you know, and I just hope that, you know, we as a people, as a human race, can work together to protect our mindsets and to lower these stats so that people can really enjoy their life and not have to feel like they are a mistake or that they don't matter. There's nothing worse than feeling like you don't matter. There's absolutely nothing worse than that feeling. So with that said, guys, this has been fantastic. I'm going to repeat my information for you because I know I'm going to wrap up the show and I just want you guys to be able to contact me if you need anything. So again, feel free to connect with me on Facebook. My Facebook channel is Miss India White. That's MSINDIAWHITE. My LinkedIn is The India White. My Twitter handle is INDISPEAK, the letter N, the word teach. That's Indie Speak and Teach. And my Instagram is Indie238. That's INDI238. My YouTube channel is India White 123. And I guess I'll put my email. It's kind of risky, but I'll put my email. I'm typing it, so give me a second. My email is going to be, oh, come on, go Gators. It's india.white.123@gmail.com. I tried to type it in. I have too many banners. Go StreamYard. So yeah, so with that said, feel free to reach out. And if you're wanting to be on the Real Talk Show, send me an email. Oh, it's streaming across the bottom. Go Gators. So send me an email in your bio to india.white.123@gmail.com. Okay. So with that said, remember my advice from the show. Be empathetic, show kindness, have mercy to all. You never know. You might be the person. Watch for it tomorrow. You might be that person to uplift someone else. You might be that person that has to give to someone else. You might be that person that might have, you might have to open up a door for someone else. You might have to write a letter of recommendation for someone else. You might have to help someone else get a job. You might have to hire somebody that you might necessarily have never thought to give an opportunity to. It might be on you now. You might have to be that philanthropist to give money to a scholarship. It might just fall in your ballpark as soon as tomorrow. So don't be shocked when that opportunity comes your way. Be empathetic, show kindness, and have mercy to all. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into the Real Talk Show. This has been incredible. I appreciate y'all with all my heart. You guys have always been so great. please feel free to visit my show and write a review when you get a chance on Facebook, and just leave a review for me. I would appreciate that with all my heart. And definitely keep in touch, like the show, share the show, and let's work together. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Veronique. Oh, so you guys have a great night, okay? Till next time. Bye, guys.